Hey guys, welcome back to Black, White, and the Grays. My name is Kylie, and if you're new here for the first time, welcome, and I'm so glad you're here. We are in zone 3/4, but we go with 3 because garden zones. It's just everywhere you are has a zone, and ours happens to be a 3. It just kind of means how cold it gets in the winter. And I'm not exactly sure. I'm sorry. My lettuce just caught my eye. Okay, so we're zone 3, and we're also located in Central Oregon. We're up in the Cascades. We're up about 4,300 feet. Not too bad, but we do have a frost risk all year round, so it is a little bit difficult. But I'm having some patchy seedlings, and I'm wondering, like, starts. They were all doing really good, and then they're slowly starting to disappear. It's happening with my lettuce. Don't mind my weeds, but you can see how my lettuce, some of it is doing really good. And this is what it was caught my eye. It's doing pretty good. Give this another week and she'll be good to eat. But as you can see, it's like patchy. And I'm almost wondering if birds are getting to it. The same thing with my Parisian market carrots. I had rows and rows of these, and they're just not doing good, which is disappointing. I replanted both my lettuce and the carrots, and actually a lot of other things that are going awry. In these beds, we have green onions and radishes. Something, I don't know what happened with my radishes. It looks like they got fried, but this is our first really hot day. And I've been super diligent about watering. I have no idea. The spinach is doing really good. Some of the leaves are getting big enough to eat. Then next to spinach is Swiss chard. That all died. So I re-sowed that. They were all popping up little baby seedlings. Gone. My peas, which I've talked about in a different video, they've died. We re-sowed them, and a bunch of them are sprouting up. I'm not going to take you over there because the sprinklers are going. Let's see. I don't know. You can kind of see the peas in the middle. These beds need weeded. We just did it. I don't know. I guess it's been 2 weeks, but you gotta keep it up with it. So the romaine head lettuce is actually doing pretty well. That's planted on this side. Over here we got kale, and I did the winter boar kale, the red boar kale, and the winter boar, the green and the red. They were all coming up good. These looked like they had some sort of bug got to them. This has never happened to me. I have no idea. And then I had cabbages, rutabagas, turnips, and they all seem to be gone. I don't know if a deer got in, a bird got them. I have no idea what happened, but a lot of my seedlings are just gone. So I replant, and that is a big strategy. I have some sunchokes. I'm getting distracted because it's been a hot today. Yesterday and today were really hot. It's like a scorcher for here. It got up to 95, I believe. But here we have, these are Jerusalem artichokes, sunchokes, and I have this whole, Obi, get out of the bed. Get out of the bed, oops. This whole bed and down here. And basically everywhere the straw is, we have planted Jerusalem artichokes. Another name for them is sunchokes. I ended up planting 3 rows of potatoes. We originally had the 2, but then we had so many that we planted this other one. These guys have been mulched 3 times. And they are happy as a clam. It's a good thing, but at the same time, I need to add some compost onto them. A ton of potatoes are popping up, and I've planted, this is my 3rd year with potatoes. My first year was very successful. I planted them over in our small garden. Last year, they took the back burner, and I was not successful with them at all. I think we planted 75 pounds and got 8 pounds. It was bad. But the year prior, we planted 15 pounds and got 75 pounds. Sure, I'm hoping to get what we equivalent, no, actually way more than what we got, because I think we planted 25, 35 pounds. I don't know, I'd have to do a calculation. I'm speaking to myself when I tell you this. When planting your garden, a lot of people are like, how do you get it to grow? Mine keep dying, something keeps eating them or dying, what have you. How do you get a good harvest? My biggest tip is just keep planting. Like, keep planting. Things are going to fail. Things are going to succeed. You have to keep planting. And I get discouraged. I came out here and I was crying my eyes out and went and told my husband, I was just like, I'm a failure. I am a big fat failure because all my crops were dying or missing or gone awry. I don't know what the heck happened to them. And I just got my tears out, put my head down, went in, got my seeds, and I was out till dark planting, replanting everything last Saturday, or a couple days ago. So these guys are getting too big for your britches. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. They are poking up. These guys give me life. This bed needs weeded. This is a common weed here. I don't know what it's called. It's funny though, because it's always nice to pick. It's wet to the touch. I don't know what it is, but it feels good and it's cool when you. This is why I love no dig. Do you see? Yeah, we have a lot of weeds. The beds we didn't do right last year, and this year we just put down a thin layer of cardboard paper, not actual cardboard. We didn't have enough, but the weeds are coming out so easily. We had a couple days ago, we got down really cold, and you can see some of the sunflowers got nipped. They have been babied underneath this frost cover, and so that does not surprise me. I actually had left this undone, so it probably blew off. That's why they got it, but I'm keeping them under here for a couple reasons. And now they're big enough where I don't think the birds will get to them, because here's my hand. They're 6 inches tall, most of them. But I don't want them to get sun scald tomorrow and these next 2 hot days. So they're going to stay covered, and it just really helps it keep in the moisture. For our pro-cut sunflowers, we have some hybrids, and they're just not doing as good. I really need to get in here with the weed eater. I think the weeds under here are doing better than the sunflowers. You can see a sunflower here, there, here, here. They are more slow growing, but I just love those pro cuts. This is all yarrow I'm weeding. It grows wild here. If we don't, it's going to get out of control. I have a yarrow patch, which is here. It's getting overtaken by weeds, but I see some buds. This is so nice. These are all buds. I'm not sure what color this is. It could be any color. I planted this, a lot of it's growing back from last year, and it could be any color. White or hot pink was what I had mostly of in here. I'm hoping for some yellows and some peaches and reds, some creams. White grows wild here, and that's about it. Because it grows wild here, planting it as a perennial for a cut flower garden is quite advantageous. The greenhouse probably needs hit with some water. I bet it was blazing in there today. I planted up my tomatoes. It's out of control in here again. What else is new? I got these. I got 2 of these. They're like the Espalier. I can't pronounce it. The apple trees that go sideways. I have another one here. This one's looking a little sad, worse for wear. It was like it's still 90 degrees in the greenhouse today. I watered everything really good last night in preparation for today, but everything got planted yesterday, which was kind of a risk. And I had thought, well, you're either going to be planted up and a little more susceptible to anything after you get transplanted, or you're going to be in your pots during this super hot day, which is more likely for the roots to dry out. So I chose transplanting them and hope that they'd be fine. Everything looks fairly good except for my apple tree, and she just needs a good soak. Trees. My parents have a high tunnel. You're hearing my little thing. My parents have a high tunnel, and they have fruit trees planted all throughout it. Because of our frost risk all year round, and you can plant fruit trees outside. They'll do good. I think we can do cherry, plum, apples, maybe a hardy peach. Stuff that's, oh, I see some flowers. Cool. I got some flowers out there blooming. Cute little orange ones. I don't know what those are. We gotta go look at them. So we can plant them outside and we can get fruit. And there's a couple mythical trees around the area. Like there's one that's up higher in elevation than us that they say gets apples every year, even with the frost. It can be done. But in order to get fruit, you need to cover your blossoms from the frost, and then so people can go out there and cover them whenever we're supposed to get frost, or every night, which is a pain in the butt. And my parents have had good success in the last year with theirs in their high tunnel. So I thought, well, I should get some for my greenhouse. So I did. Some of my peppers, we're gonna give this guy a really good soak. I set the hose there to let it run. I had some determinate tomatoes that got a little scalded from either, well, sun scald or frost. I don't know which. So some of these guys are looking sad. It's looking a little worse for wear. I actually have some peppers that are as well. But I went ahead and planted them. You might as well plant it if it looks like it has some life, because what if it survives? I don't know. I'm like having a horrible year with my tomatoes and peppers. Last year wasn't that great either. I don't know if I've ever had like a bumper crop year of tomatoes and peppers. It's because it's so hard to grow outside. And I can have lots of things that grow outside with replanting. And so we'll see how these tomatoes perk up and look. Some of them look really good and some of them don't. I got 2 rows of peppers, sort of. I have parsley here in this middle row, and then I have some green onions that were planted last fall, and they're more than ready to get harvested and used up. I need to do that. Back row, we put up a cattle panel back there, and we're going to use that as our trellis this year. I used string and did like the little plastic tomato clips. I did not like that method, so I thought I would just put a cattle panel. I could get a second one and put it up against this wall. I have one out there, I just haven't done it yet. That way, because I have tomatoes planted on either side of the tree as well. Wild in here because I've been busy at work, working in here, and yesterday it was blazing and it was 90 degrees in here and I was sweating a lot. But I got it done, and basically what I'm getting at is, for outside, keep replanting. Don't give up. Even when all your crops fail, or the deer eat them, or the bunnies eat them, or the birds eat them, or you just neglect to water them properly, don't give up. Just keep at it. And a lot of this is just me talking to myself because I need to keep at it. I thought we were going to be able to do a farmer's market this Saturday, and we should have been if we would have had warm weather. Last week it was it was cold and rainy, and it was spitting snow. And this week, today, it's 94. Tomorrow, 96. So it's just been a crazy week. 90s, mid to upper 90s are not, we get them, but they're not the norm. We normally in summer we have anywhere in the 80s. That's a normal day in the summer. We drop back down, fortunately, on Saturday, and we're in the sweet spot for the rest of June. for the sweet spot for me is like anywhere between upper 60s to upper 70s will be perfect for all the crops outdoors and the greenhouse too. So I'm gonna get these plants watered in again, or give them some water. They're already watered in, but make sure that they can survive tomorrow. If you have a hot day coming up, deep water. And when I say deep water, you're gonna have to, if the surface looks wet, you need to put your finger in. I would go a couple inches down to see if it's moist underneath the soil, because I have done this. I have thought, oh, I got it. It's been watered plenty, and then I put my finger down and it's just dry as a bone. Deep water, everything. That's what I really should have made sure with this apple tree. It was deep watered. But I think I got it. I think I saved it. Get it if it's a hot day coming, deep water. Fortunately, we live in the Pacific Northwest. We have hardly any humidity, especially where we are in Central Oregon. Now in the valley, like Portland, Eugene, and Salem, they have way more humidity than we do. We just don't get as much. They do, but we don't. And then I grew up a little bit in the South. That's humidity for you. Your sheets are damp when you get into bed. We don't have that here. So fortunately, when our heat is hot, it's a dry heat. Makes it way more tolerable. All right, I'm gonna water these guys. I planted a ton of wildflowers around. I don't know what these guys are. Oh, I should have got the old. I don't know what this guy is. It's adorable though. It's beautiful too. It's the first thing to bloom out here. We have some bachelor buttons coming up, and they got some buds. But no perseverance through the gardening season. If you're like me, you dream for this, you look forward to it all winter long, and it finally gets here, and failure can be so discouraging. So when you fail, when your crops don't succeed, keep at it, keep planting, keep going, and eventually it will take off. You will learn from your mistakes. Like already this year, I'm like, okay, maybe that could have used a little more water that day. Oh, okay, maybe I need to get some more frost cover, fleece to cover these seedlings until they get, if we're having a bird problem, maybe I need to cover them until the seedlings are big enough where the birds can't just dig them out of the soil. Learn from your mistakes and learn from your failures. And I have such a hard time with failure. I feel it in my innermost being, but there's a difference of what I'm trying to learn from is there's a difference of failure and it keeping you down and failure of learning from it. And I like to fight. I don't like to fail. When I do fail, I tend to want to just crawl in a hole and not do anything. But instead of picking myself up, that night, Saturday, I did not want to come out here and plant. I wanted to go inside, watch a show or a movie with my husband and just settle down. But I came out here and I saw these failures that had happened and realized in order if I want to be successful as a market gardener, I needed to get my butt out here and do it. So I wiped my tears, and sometimes I was still crying through the planting. And maybe you just gotta cry through the planting sometimes and just cry through the planting and get it done. And get it done. The same thing happened with my beets. I lost my first beet crop pretty early on. My sugar snack carrots were doing awesome, and they're doing okay still. We're replanting, resowing, replanting. It's the moral of the year. I see peas coming up here. The sprinkler's on. Right now, the sprinkler is way more important than showing you guys sprouts. Oh, except if it's a potato sprout. We don't have any frost in the forecast for the next, our tentative last frost date is June 15th. It's a joke. We don't really have one. Oh, look at this beauties. This will give you, this gives me such life. And I planted garlic right here in this very first bed. The gate is right here. I planted garlic in this bed knowing that it would give me cheer and delight when I would come in, and it makes me feel like, oh, I can grow something because it's cheerful and it's a foot tall already, and everything else is just babies and makes you look like a better gardener than you are. There's a pro tip. Plant your garlic at the front of the gate, so then you seem cool better. We are working on Trey's landscaping. This is a giant pile. It doesn't look that huge. It's 14 yards of pea gravel. When it came, I know a lot of people, some people love pea gravel and some people really dislike it. I really wanted it for that English cottage garden look, but this pea gravel is unique because it has lava rock in it. Leave it to us here in the Pacific Northwest to make, well, use out of what we have, which is a lot of lava rock. In Central Oregon, at least. I won't speak for the entire Pacific Northwest. Let's go get a glimpse at the little garden. Here's my beautiful poppy walkway. This garden needs weeded. Everything else is growing really slow in here. Normally this is my fastest space. Sunflowers, they're growing up. Go in here. We have a ton of volunteer sunflowers all over the place. Right now, there's a lot of things that I know are weeds. That one weed over by the sunflowers I showed you that feels like wet when you touch it, it's growing all in here. I really just need to spend a day weeding this. Trey and my oldest Elle are putting in landscape liner to get the pea gravel pathway all the way up to the garden, which is going to be so beautiful. I'm going to enjoy it. I get to walk on a gravel path all the way to my little garden. Oh dear, this is a kid zone. Hopefully they didn't smash any flowers. We got, these are planted, I believe they are Brussels sprouts or rutabaga, not 100%. Raspberries are doing so good. Keep in mind, we're in zone 3 at a higher elevation. This guy, I hope he gives me lots of berries this year. How's it going, TG?
Oh, it's going kind of great.
This is gonna look so good, huh?
More right there. Hold up.
I'm going to help Trey and our oldest Elle finish this liner up, so that way Gabe tomorrow, my cousin, also our employee, can get the rock up here and make it look really good tomorrow. It'll probably take him a couple days. It's a lot of work. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe. Bye guys.